Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's an inspiring live stream for sure that delves into the powerful story of a young woman's journey from the depths of prescription drug addiction, which began with doctor prescribed Percocets, to the triumph of her recovery. This is a conversation where you get to witness the resilience of a human spirit as we explored Natalie Smith's path to reclaiming her life and overcoming the challenges of dependency and ultimately finding hope and healing in her own life. Tonight is a testimony that may help other people as well. And hopefully, it's a light at the end of the tunnel. With this terrible, terrible fight against addiction. As most of you know, I lost my son, Ben Olivero, last summer to addiction. And since then, we have created Guardians of Recovery, which is a program specifically to help people in addiction with recovery, families with addicted loved ones, and really to elevate the conversation, take addiction out of the dark and bring it into the light. So I'm so excited to have a chat with Natalie this evening. She's slightly under the weather, but she was brave enough to join us tonight anyway. Natalie, thank you so much for tuning into the show. I can't wait to have a conversation with you and learn all about your journey, which was a horrific journey, but it had a happy ending.
Yes, for sure. And thank you, Tina, for this opportunity very much. I greatly appreciate it. And as Tina said, I'm a little bit under the weather. The snow and the rain got me, so I'm going to be dabbing my nose here and there with a tissue. I got a runny nose, so pardon me for that. Sorry. But yes, thank you, Tina, for this experience. I also was a friend of Ben's, and I know him the gentle giant. Us redheads stick together. We all know each
Yeah.
other. So I'm glad to have the privilege to have known Ben and now to know his mother. And thank you for being one of my great supporters from bottom of my heart. I appreciate it.
And I think there's more than me that is one of your supporters. In the comments, we have Michael, Charles, Margie Hatfield. Hi, everyone. Thanks
Michael,
for tuning in.
and say hi, baby.
Proud of you, he says.
uh,
So we love to have your comments. We love to have your questions. Feel free to put your comments in as we carry on with the live stream. And yeah, let's dive right into it. I guess the first place that I'm so curious about in all of this, Natalie, is like, can you take us back to when all of this happened? How old were you? Where were you? Exactly what happened? And how did you end up in such a dark place?
um, it started in 2015. So I was probably 22, 23 years old. I
Yeah.
was living in my home in Bishop's Cove and I fell down. My right arm went in behind my back and I fell. I had a concussion. I was sent to St. John's Health Science Center for a full week. During that week, I was injected with morphine the entire time, every couple hours. I never took as much as Advil or Tylenol ending in my life. I had surgery done, which left me with a major scar, and I don't really show everyone, but as I told you earlier, I will show it here now. This is my scar
Yeah.
of a full plate, pins and screws in my arm.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. And this rain is killing it. Hey, girl. Um, but after my surgery, they can't send you home, inject the needles into your body, of course. I was sent home with 250 Percocets.
Wow.
And yeah, I took them as prescribed. And then when they started wear off, as they calls it, the buckles, your body aches and pains, and you're going to do it and get that next pill. So it went from that to oxys to morphine, anything I get. But then I started liking, they say that you like the high. You don't like the high. You like the feeling. You like it makes you sociable. You like that you can talk. You can clean up your house. You can get things done that realistically you weren't doing before. It's the
Right.
feeling that you chase. So one thing led to another. I was told about sniffing them, and I started sniffing them. And then one night, my friend accidentally gave me cocaine, and then I went into that, and I started losing a lot of weight. My little boy Connor was 2 at the time, and I felt like I had the energy to be chasing them around. And I admit I'm not the only parent that used drugs while their child was in their home. I admit that, and I'm not the only parent. I'm definitely not the only parent that's done it. And do we feel guilt? Yes. Do we feel shame? Yes. But right now, I'm being a better mom.
Yeah. Just hang on one second for a second, and Natalie, just want to get just backpedal a bit there to the Percocets. So you were prescribed Percocets. Now, for people who don't know what Percocets are, Percocets are, you know, a pain reliever for severe pain, and it contains an opioid, oxycodone,
Yeah.
and also acetaminophen combined. So hopefully, you know, that combination of the two was enough to deal with that major surgery that you had there. When you said that they sent you home with 250 Percocets, like just prescription, a full, like, can you describe that to me? Like, did you get them all at once? How did
No,
it go?
it was all at once. It was. I remember this is the biggest prescription bottle I've seen in my life. The big bottle, and it was full like those little white Percocets with TEC, Toronto Engineering Company, on one side, and running on the other. Like says the combination of acetaminophen and codeine, and codeine is the thing that actually your body will crave.
Okay.
The other,
Just
yeah,
just one sec. Can you guys all hear Natalie out there? Because I don't know if she's a little bit low and things are a little bit crackly, but is anybody out there listening? Can you tell me if you can hear Natalie okay? Or
I
is there
just turned my mic again.
what?
I just turned up my microphone again. I don't know if that helps.
Oh,
Yeah,
it may,
Michael just texted me. Sounds kind of staticky.
yeah,
Just
it's
throw
like
it in drop.
like a little crackly sort of noise. It could be the weather outside. It could be your internet connection. Some people say it's a little bit staticky. Some people say they can hear you fine.
About it
But
now.
it's still a little tiny bit staticky.
Okay,
Maybe
well,
turn
we're
your
blaming
phone.
weather.
Can you turn your phone a little bit direction, one or way or the other? Let's see. Let's see.
Can everyone hear me now?
I mean, I can definitely hear you now because it's closer.
Yeah, that's probably a bit of the issue.
Yeah, but it's slightly staticky. Anyway, talk nice and slow. So, just to get back to this now, so you had 250 basically Percocets that are, you know, combination of an opioid, which is oxycodone, and acetaminophen, I suppose, and all of these. Over what kind of a period of time did you take 250 of these?
Well, I was allowed to take two, I believe, at the time, every 6 hours, but obviously your body gets immune to taking the pills, so I started increasing, taking more and more and more. You like the feeling more that your body's getting, so it was definitely two every 6 hours.
Right. And so then, you know, as how long did it take for your shoulder to heal?
But right, my shoulder isn't fully healed still. The plate, I'm still having troubles with it. The scar, that's the second scar. I had surgery done before to remove it as a keloid scar, and it came back twice as bad. But I was close on to 5 or 6 months going around my arm in a sling and holding it in and trying to do the exercise. You got to put your hand on the wall and climb
Yeah.
your fingers up over the wall so you extend, so your rotary cup is getting the motion.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And when did you say to yourself, "Uh-oh, I might be experiencing a problem with these pills, like maybe I can't get off them," or what was the process and how long did it take to get to that point?
When I ran out and I said, "Oh God, I got none of my prescription left." And when I woke up the next morning, it was horrific. Like childbirth, we all know us mothers know, you know yourself, Tina. Childbirth now almost seems like breeze. The feeling of withdrawal of opiates is the worst withdrawal I went through in my life. It happened the very next day. Bang. The second day was even worse. You can't
Wow.
sleep. You can't eat. You feel like you're sweating but you're cold and clammy with your hair stuck up out your arms. You don't know whether to put the blanket on you or take the blanket off. You can't use the bathroom properly. Like it's horrendous. Again, I'll say it over again. Opiate withdrawal is the worst withdrawal I went through in my life.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's such a similar story I keep hearing over and over and over again. Like, Ben was on opioids and came off opioids 3 times. I don't know how he got the strength to do that, but he that wasn't his drug of choice either. Weed was his drug of choice, so maybe that has something to do with it, because I know that there is a predisposition. So, just to go back into Percocets for a second, just so people kind of understand that there's many roads that lead to the abuse of Percocet. So if you're wondering why and how this sort of substance abuse problem has become a factor, then we have research that says that Percocet addiction can be explained by a number of different factors, the first one being genetic. So, since addiction is a concern that can be passed on from one's genes, the addiction to Percocet may be due in part to a genetic makeup. Like in the case of Ben had a genetic makeup where he had cannabis use disorder. As soon as he smoked cannabis, it unlocked bipolar. And he was never the same since. So there is a genetic component, and research has, isolated the gene cluster that can make substance abuse more of a problem for certain individuals. So it could be beneficial to look into your family history before you take Percocets, for example. And then there's environmental factors, of course, like, risk factors would include prior history with substance abuse in your family, a lack of impulse control in your character, having easy access to Percocets. Of course, you had loads of those, and
Yeah.
having like novelty seeking personality, or like in Norway, they call addiction the adrenaline disease, because people seeking adrenaline, or as we said, family history of substance abuse or addiction, and family history of mental illness. In our family, we have bipolar, and my brother had bipolar and schizophrenia, for my oldest brother, for which he eventually passed away and lived a tortured life as a result. And it seemed to run in some of the males in our family. So I could definitely see that genetic link coming through. And then maybe some people don't have any of that. They just got prescribed Percocet, and they don't have addiction in their family, and they just got addicted. So it could be many, many different ways that sort of lead to how that could happen. It's nobody's fault. It is being prescribed a drug that you get addicted to, and then it's hell on earth, and you have to find your way out of there.
It definitely is hell on earth. And with the cycle, like I said, a lot of it is passed down through. A lot of it is what we see growing up. A lot of things we take as normalcy because really it's not normal. Alcoholics run in my family. Well, because they're not allowed to drive. A little joke there. But yeah, alcoholism is something that runs my family. I did end up drinking as well. Weed, I was prone to being around weed. But after my opiates and I tried to get off it. It was too hard, so I reached out to the doctor and I started on the Suboxone program, and that never worked out for me. And then I started on the methadone program, and that never
So
worked out.
let's go back to that. So why didn't Suboxone work for you?
Um, I didn't like the feeling. I don't know if my dose was too high, if it was too low. I get lightheaded. I was always really giddy, excited. Everything always had to be done. Everything had to be perfect and done. Um, Using washroom, can use washroom. Then I get this nauseous feeling here in my throat and a weird lighthead. I didn't like it.
Mhm.
So they switched me over
It
to
sounds like almost like anxiety.
yeah, it was a lot, and it was a lot to take in, especially I haven't experienced this before. None of my family were drug addicts. I was the first one to start with pills. Like it was just a nonstop cycle, and like the help isn't out home either. Like the help, there's no help out where I'm from.
Mhm.
It's a very vicious cycle.
Okay, so then you went from Suboxone. Suboxone didn't work for you, gave you all these symptoms, and then you tried to get off by going on methadone. And what was the difference in Suboxone and methadone?
Suboxone, you can take opiates because you'll get really, really, really sick.
Yeah.
Methadone, you can take pills and you won't get sick, but the methadone also makes you high. And again, I didn't like it was a different side effect of all the other pills and everything I took, and I didn't like it, so I dropped it cold turkey. And I suffered for 16 days of no sleep, insomnia, sweating, throwing up, not being able to use the bathroom. It was horrid, completely horrid. Again, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Mhm. Yeah, because there's some people that are on, methadone and they swear by it. They've been on for years. There's other people like a woman I spoke to today from recovery. She was on it for years and years, and she says the worst thing she ever did. So there's all kinds of different people and different reactions and different experiences. And I don't think there's one right answer here. There just seems to be, a whole lot of different effects on different people, which would make sense. We're all different. But being on it for years and years and years, like I know one of the side effects is it rots your teeth out. If it's rotting your teeth out, imagine what it's doing to the rest of your body, your bones, your brain. Like
Mm.
I shudder to think about what really long-term use of methadone and Suboxone is doing to people's health. I'm not a doctor. I haven't done the research myself, but that's the feedback I'm getting from people.
And that is true. Me and my fiance, right before me, you were on the phone. Michael's on methadone. He's been on for a couple of years. And when we first met, he was on 85 milligrams. Now he's down to 70. So congratulations. I'm really proud of him.
Way to
But
go, Michael.
he's
Hi,
gone down
Michael.
to two every week. And he mentioned tonight he chipped another piece of his tooth. And methadone it rots away your teeth. Like none of my teeth are real. I got no bottom ones. I got no teeth whatsoever. It
Wow.
eats away your body, like physically. It decays your teeth first. It can take away the weight off your body, your physical appearance. You sink in. It affects people in a lot of different ways. But again, it's strange that you mentioned that because yeah, Michael said about his teeth right before we had this live.
Yeah, that's wow, unbelievable. Okay, so then you tried Suboxone. You're desperately trying to get off all of this. You tried Suboxone, you tried methadone. Then what happened?
I quit cold turkey and
Wow.
I went off for a while, and then of course I ended up wrapping myself in with the wrong crowd again. Then it was weed. I wouldn't go anywhere without my bong. I
Hmm.
loved it, but I wasn't productive. I'd smoke, and I'd eat, and I'd sleep, and I gained a lot of weight. And then me and my ex-husband split up, and I met a guy, and he abused me. I lost my home, so I went to a shelter in Carbonear, where I met another girl. I met her brother, and that's when the crack started. And that was just a nightmare.
Okay, hang on. So let's go to the weed part. No, so we're now past the Percocets, past the Suboxone, past the methadone. Then you got into weed. What do you think weed did to your brain? To your yes, you ate a lot. It kind of made you. But do you think it had any effect on the way that you thought about things, cause and effect, uh, like results, repercussions, decision making?
Well, I couldn't make no decisions. That was definitely one thing I couldn't do. My mom was always fuzzy. I'd go from happy and excited to adventurous to depressed. That was my three stages. Um, as I used to say, fried my brain. I know,
Right.
like, it's a legal thing now, yes, and a lot of people use it for medicinal uses and pain and whatnot. I got nothing against anyone that's doing it. If it works for you, you do you. But for me, it wasn't an option. It never should have been an option. I should just stop using as soon as I started because again, everything was foggy. not clear. I couldn't think right. I couldn't function right. I was sleeping all the time. I was missing out stuff, but it was helping me blur out the world instead of helping me face the world.
Right. Gotcha. And then you said the next thing after that, like, how did you go from weed to crack? Do you think that weed was like a gateway to crack for you?
One part, yep. I
How
wasn't
so?
getting I wasn't getting high enough.
Oh, gotcha.
I wanted the next high, but I was told that you'd get high, you'd be energetic, and you could function. Not like weed.
Mhm.
I was letting Tina with the wrong crowd. I came here
Yeah.
to the city with no family, like crazy what drugs will make you do.
Yeah. So crack is then Ashley says crack is a nightmare. It's a living hell. Courtney says, hi, ladies. Hi, everyone.
I
Hi, everyone. Hi, Charmaine. Hi, all of our viewers this evening. We're talking about this like incredible journey of Natalie's going headlong into addiction and then how she survived it. Because you're lucky you're still here. You're very, very lucky you're still here.
swear guys for silly wiping my nose.
That's okay. It's not good. We know one thing. It's not coke and it's not crack. It's
Yeah,
the
it's not
flu.
coke and it's not crack. I promise I have
It's
allergies.
it's the flu. It's the allergies.
But yeah,
Okay.
the crack, yeah, it's definitely hell. Definitely hell, without a doubt. And the first time I smoked it, I was hooked.
And why?
When I smoked it, and I guess it's a number of factors. Hearing the crackle of it again, intense what's called crack, breathing it in, and when you just let it that puff, it just feels like everything just goes numb from your head down. Sometimes you'll get a ringer that your ears will womp and you'll hear stuff. But it's like the world doesn't exist around you anymore. But even though you feel like the world don't exist around you anymore, it can help mellow you out. You're chasing that feeling again, as I said. You know, it just destroyed absolutely everything. You'll take away every cent that you have, and it's just a non-stop cycle that's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you'll do anything to get that next bit of money to get the crack. It's insane.
So is it because of the way you feel when you're coming off it, or is it because you're chasing that high, or is it both? Like, are you experiencing the same level of pain when you're coming off the opioids?
It's different altogether.
Okay.
Different
Describe
altogether.
it. Describe it for us.
Um,
Because there's a lot of people out here who don't fully understand.
Now everyone do got a different experience when it comes to crack and their withdrawal and how they feel because everyone smokes different amounts. You don't know what slice what. Opiates though is opiates. Opiates, I had a lot of body pain. The physical pain was unreal. I was sick all the time. Like it was a really hard, like COVID, but like 10 times worse.
Right.
Um, really bad. Coming off crack cocaine, when you come down off it, you're paranoid. You're looking for money for more. You're picking the floor, you're picking the carpet, you're picking your pockets. Things that you see as people. You're paranoid. Oh, the landlord's coming in, the cops is coming in, this one's coming in. It's a mental thing. So for me, crack was mind over matter and matter over mind. And I had
Mhm.
a little bit of the sweat of the withdrawal, but crack withdrawal is more of a mental torture than anything.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that. So, and with the opioids, it's more of a body
Yes.
withdrawal, and in the crack, when with the crack, it's like messing with your head.
Yeah, it's a mental thing. Like when you sit there, and I only ever heard or seen shadow people once, and that comes from again you meant crack smoker residue, and I actually thought in my head and thought I was seeing three girls. Now picture this up on White Hills Road, where we know this is all woods and biking trails up at our NCU building. 11:30 at night. I thought I'd seen 3 girls and heard them laughing coming down the road, and I was like, "We got to go, we got to go, we got to go. We can't stay here." Like, they're coming down, they're trying to get in the car. There was no one even there. Like, it
Mm.
makes you insane.
Yeah, so you go into hallucinations and
Yeah,
maybe a
and
bit of
psychosis.
psychosis. And Courtney says here, crack destroyed my family twice and I didn't smoke it. And I know what she means by that. Meaning it destroyed people in her family.
When you do
Yeah.
drugs, you don't mean to, but you hurt the ones you love the most, and you're not in your right state of mind. Drugs, it's a disease, and it's a disease of the brain. I can't say the big word that you uses, but you know the word I mean. Um, I ruined my family. I
And
really,
you're talking about anosognosia.
yes, there we go.
Uh,
18 up for
yeah,
that big word. Thank you.
yeah. So
Um,
we'll get into that anosognosia here in a minute. Yeah.
yeah, so I did. I ruined my family. I lost rights to see my son. My mom and my dad were stressed out all the time. They didn't deserve it. Um, they'd be dreading for the phone ring, wondering if it was me if I was dead.
Yeah.
And like, dad is gone gray, mom is stressed out, my nana's 75, my aunt got my uncle who works in town, just trying to grab me and throw me into a truck to get me out of it. But you don't really come out of it till you hit rock bottom. But I did. I destroyed my family. I lost trust. I never had nowhere to live. I was homeless. And the biggest thing I stole was my own life. I stole my own life away from me.
Wow. And it is so hard. Like, I know what I went through with Ben every single day for 7 years. I was wondering, is this the day Ben is going to die? And Ben had what I call anosognosia. He didn't have cause and effect. I mean, I would find him walking the streets in the dead of February winter, with the t-shirt on at 11 o'clock at night, and he's oblivious to the fact that he's actually, freezing, or he'd be out there on Water Street and he'd be so cold that he couldn't formulate sentences.
Yep.
And that's the brain of someone who is, on coke or crack, or what I call drug-induced anosognosia. So let's get into that for a second, because I want to explain what anosognosia is. It's a condition where your brain can't recognize one or more of your health conditions that you have. And it's very, very common with mental health conditions such as schizophrenia. And when I look at all the people that are homeless, I think a lot of them have schizophrenia, a lot of them have bipolar disorder. So this condition is not dangerous on its own, but people with it are much more likely to avoid or resist getting any treatment for themselves, which would explain a lot about why our people in addiction and homeless don't get help for themselves. But anosognosia is a condition where you can't recognize your health problems. So it's not actually denial or lack of insight. It falls under the family of agnosias. And your brain, it's an actual brain issue where your brain can't process or recognize that you are not well, or you're in a life-threatening situation with that drug, and you can't self-reflect enough to actually see what's going on. And anosognosia affects people with other medical conditions, especially those with bipolar and schizophrenia. And that's what's in our family, is bipolar schizophrenia. So experts estimate that it affects between 50 and 98% of people with schizophrenia. So anosognosia, the inability to see that you're sick, self-reflect, to help yourself out of a situation. Experts estimate that 50 to 98% of people have that, who have schizophrenia, and 40% with bipolar. So make no wonder there's so many people with mental health issues that don't seek help, or they're not denying help. In their view, their limited view, their anosognosia view, they don't actually see that they're sick. So why would they ask for help? So there's anosognosia, and then there's drug-induced anosognosia, which shuts
Yeah.
down that part of your brain and doesn't give you the capacity to recognize I'm in a life-threatening situation, even though I overdose and overdose and overdose, and I still don't have the capacity. That brain is wiped out at the frontal cortex and doesn't give people the opportunity to make a life-saving decision. When someone's in that place, I think it's our responsibility as a society to help people when they're a danger to themselves. That's why I believe in early testing, because anosognosia can be tested. Bipolar, we have a way of determining if someone has schizophrenia or bipolar. We have brain scans, we have physical tests. So early testing could actually, preempt all of the majority of this homelessness, the majority of what's happening in tent city.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. One of the examples that I'd like to use again with having that disease, and again, it's a generic thing that happens, and it seems like I've met a few people that do have that, and in and out of that, it's like when they do try to come clean and come out, they're stuck in that mindset for a longer time than what anyone that don't have bipolar or schizophrenia. It affects them a lot, like I said, a lot harder. And the one that I
Yeah.
like to use is, you see a hot burner. Us in our logical thing, you're not going to go and put your hand on that burner. You know it's hot. They're going
Yeah.
to go either way, and they're going to put their hand on that burner, and they'll come past it again. The burner is there. They know it's hot. They're going to touch it again. And again, it's just going to keep relaying, 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 and relaying. And, when it gets to the point, too, like that, these can be life altering situations. It could be life or death. Um, I believe, yes, that testing should be there, but then we get the trouble with the government, the funding of where can we put these people to, where can we get proper medical help, where can we have a proper facility that this treatment can be done? Because right now we're crying for rehabs, we're
Yeah.
crying for taxes, and one of the biggest things I'm just going to show, because I know you got one too. I can't urge enough to carry one of these.
Yeah.
This
Carry.
life, this is life and death, guys. This is someone's life in this pack
Mhm.
that can save them.
Yeah. I wish we had nasal ones because people trying to fumble around with needles and all of that is difficult as it is when you're in a panic situation. But
Yeah,
Charmaine says, my heart goes out to your mom and dad because she said, I'm right there and have been for 20 years or more with her own son who is in Guelph dealing with the same thing and doesn't have the capacity to make a life-saving decision, living out in a tent in the middle of the winter. Thank God we just got him into a hotel.
thank
Um,
God.
thank God.
Thank
But
God.
this is what's actually going on. And yeah, and Courtney says, let me see, my ex was diagnosed with schizophrenia. The meds the docs gave were unreal. And from there, he went to crack and now has been homeless and on meth for nearly 10 years. It's so sad. It's like there's,
It's
and it's such an epidemic, and it's actually decimating families for sure.
it's destroying families. I know when I was under drugs, I lived in a tent, but it was up on White Hills Road. I was homeless. I ended up in shelter. Um, the crack just kept me muted out of the outside world, and at the end of it, I hit rock bottom. I was sick, but I've slept in little Bannerman Park, and I was scared that my own pair of shoes would be taken.
Yeah,
Um, I never had no meals to put my belly on unless I went to a gathering place, and everyone knows that's where I volunteer now, and I can't praise those people enough.
that's awesome.
Um, yeah, I was in 85 pounds. I never had no stings. Boy, did I want to get up every day and get high. And then when it wore off, you go a couple days without it, and you try to find stuff to keep you busy. And then you go and do it again to put yourself in the same torture. It's self-sabotage, really. So when
Mhm.
me and Michael met, yes, me and Michael did use first. And that's when really life started hitting me in the face of who I had in front of me as a person. I knew he was my person. It just felt so natural. And the love and the support, and two of us fought our way up out of it together. And that fight is hard. Not every day is going to be easy. Not every day is going to be 50-50.
Yeah,
Sometimes I'm 20 and Michael is 80.
yeah,
That's going to work. And you got to figure out your triggers of people, places and things. Certain smells will set you off. Certain
Mm.
music will set you off. But you know, it's by the grace of God and meeting Michael that I'm here today, because we all know it's in my newspaper article, and we all know I got an interview coming up soon with NTV News.
Yeah,
And
you're all over the news, my dear. You're a sensation. That's because you're our hero, you and Michael. And like anybody, I think coming through addiction is the hardest challenge in life. And the people who make it through, like you truly have done something extraordinary. I personally believe that you guys are the ones who are going to solve the addiction epidemic. I think your experience is actually, I really do. I think your experience is so essential that you're going to be the ones who design the right types of detox and recovery. You're going to, like when I built my sober living homes, I want you guys to show me how to do it, what needs to happen, right? And like being at the gathering place and helping out what's happening there, like
mm,
to be able to contribute and be a part of that is huge, not only for your giving back, because like if it wasn't for helping other people after Ben died, honestly, I think I would be gone too, because it's helping other people that has got me through this every single day, helping two or three parents or people in recovery. There's only one way out, and that is to give what you got back. So I'm helping moms. You're helping people through addiction, and it's truly a miracle.
it is a miracle when you said that after Ben passed away, you being able to help, because again, you're a mother of a child who went through addictions. God rest his soul, because he was a gentle giant. I know one thing, you'd be able to see him coming before anything. My
Yeah.
best friend that passed away when I was 17 years old, she had cerebral palsy, and she had brain aneurysm that nobody knew about. So I was helping her live her everyday life, but it just came natural to me. So after that, I decided to become a personal care attendant and an applied behavioral analysis therapist for autistic children. And
Wow.
like it was just a natural thing for me to be giving. And even after that education, I became a dancer down, I'm not going to say what club, but I was an exotic dancer. We all know that. I was out back and forth, trying to go back and forth to trap house to trap house. I worked in a couple of trap houses, and now to this day, even some of the guys that were there, they'll come down and they'll just look at me like a child and tell me how proud they are that I got away from this life. And it doesn't matter that you come from a good home. It doesn't matter that you have an education like myself. It can happen to anyone with just a slip of starting to take prescription medication. It can
Yeah.
happen to anyone. So please don't judge anyone, please. It happens so quickly. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to take something now the size of the top of my finger, and everything I got around me, my phone, my vape, my family, the trust, my money, my financial assets, my job, I'm going to throw all that away and I'm going to become an addict. I can't wait to become an addict and do drugs every day and struggle and wonder how I'm going to do it. Addiction don't work that way. And if you ever
No.
see someone struggling, they might want help, they might not. Don't force it, but walk alongside of them. You
Yeah.
know, make them feel like they're not alone. They're not alone in addiction, but don't, if you haven't been through addiction, don't stand up and judge them.
Yeah.
Help them out, please.
Mhm. So important what you say. I mean, Ben lived a great life. He was the honors with distinction student, and it was the day he smoked weed that he got hit just like that with bipolar, and just flicked a switch, and that was it. It was
Yep.
7 years from that day until he died, and I'm surprised he lived as long as he did. It was horrific life. He witnessed murders on the street. He went like through the trap houses, rapes, beatings, people, all these gun showdowns. Like
Yeah.
Ben found someone on the side of the shelter who had hung himself, a poor young man who couldn't get into the Waterford. Like these are horrific things that people are experiencing in the midst of addiction. And when we isolate from them, my goal was to try and stay in Ben's life every possible day. And I had to swallow everything I was thinking and judging myself and be in his world. And and kind of speak and relate to him from his point of view, which was anesthesia. There's nothing wrong with me. So I lived with Ben. My ability to stay in Ben's life was my ability to actually be where he was, not where I was. And then he would call me up and say, come on, let's go to Tim Hortons, or can you get me a burger at Monroe's, which was his favorite.
Oh, I love Monroe's. Yum. Gotta love them.
Yeah, or but or we would go up to Valley Village and we would get clothes because he'd get his clothes stolen all the time.
Yeah.
But that was a horrific time. But at the same time, it was 7 years I had with my boy that I wouldn't have had if I thought that addiction was his fault or to write him off. Which a lot of moms come to me and say, "Should I write off my kid?" I say, "No way, no way." Food and clothes and love go a long, long way. I don't say enable kids, don't give them money to buy more drugs or to hurt themselves, but I do say love them. Love them, keep loving them no matter how it works out, because whether they pass on like Ben or don't, you will never regret being in their lives and loving them.
Yeah, for sure. I had an incident of just a few days after my 30th birthday. We were supposed to smoke crack residue, and it ended up being fentanyl. I spent 3 days on life support, so
Wow.
I'm a fucking miracle. And even after that, I still never give up using. I really had to wait till I hit rock bottom. And
Wow.
you know what? Looking at it now, and when I see people use, and like, it scares me. I seen a young girl on the metro bus the other day, and she was all over the place, and nobody turned and batted an eye. And I was looking at my friend, and I was saying, like, nobody's saying anything, nobody's watching her, like, and I felt bad for the girl, and I said, I'm probably the only one here on the bus even got Narcan on them, or even know
Yeah.
how to properly use it. So I can urge everyone to, learn how to use the Narcan kits. And as you said, the inhaler once they're harder. I used that once in the shelter. I've Narcan a few people now. When I had that time that I accidentally smoked fentanyl, there's no Narcan in the house. They didn't even call the ambulance. So what were they going to do with my body? I'm very fortunate, and I'm meant to be here to tell my story, to show my recovery, to show, you can come from the ashes and rise up. You can help other people. There is life. That's the biggest thing I can tell anyone. There is life after recovery. Like, I'm seeing my boy now. I'm engaged to the most amazing man ever. Like, we're like best friends. One that can laugh and one that can burp, and the other one can laugh and snort. You know, your partners in crime, and being able to be that power couple that got sober together, and knowing that you both had a past, and you're gonna hold that rock strong and keep going forward, and you're gonna lighten other people's lives around you. It's a good feeling. Like, don't give up. And the drugs want to make you feel hopeless. It's gonna happen. You're gonna feel hopeless. You're gonna feel worthless. Days are gonna go by, and you're only gonna think it's one or two, but it's 7 or 8. You think your family don't care, and your family are mad, but your family care, and your family are mad because you're losing their kid. Tina's here, God love her, and she's dealing with this without pain. My parents almost had to deal without me, and I'm a mom myself. And I hope, pray to God, I haven't got to lose my boy at all. And along with the fact of that, like, Michael's there with a boy too, and it's already troubles of him with it. His mom passed away tragically in an accident, and Michael got his boy. No parent deserves to, lie down at night and wonder where their kids are. Your family loves you. Go home to your families. They might
Yeah.
seem mad and frustrated, but they do. They love you. They're mad and frustrated because you're losing their child.
Yeah.
No one deserves to go through that.
And then some parents are in a really, really hard spot because they are raising their children's children, so
Yeah.
grandparents, and then they can't even have their child home because of, you know, um, they're considered, a danger to their. People don't want to put people who are using with young children, understandably. So that parent is in this terrible position. I come across this every day. Grandparents raising children who are always in this, like, wanting to help their child and raising their grandchild, and the two can't come together and mix. Like, our system needs a solution for that. our social services really need to figure that out, because I think the worst thing you can really do is take away children from someone because they have brain illness. And just to get to some of those comments, Sheldon says, if only more who are going through this would share like you. Exactly. And Jan
I
said,
believe first, the thing that Sean said, like some of my, I'll say, family members want me, to keep it hush, 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 because I guess it's a bit embarrassing, I guess, in one sense, But know what? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Again, it can happen to anyone. You don't recover in silence. You recover out loud. And when you
yeah,
recover out loud, you bring more people together. Again, this is one of Montina's goals here tonight. You bring more people together, to know you're not alone. You got that support net underneath you. You got everyone around to help you. All these resources are there. You just got to want it and reach out. And the more you recover it loud, another hand you're going to reach out and you're going to hold. And you're
yeah,
going to bring them in and let them know that you're there. And you know what? That strength is phenomenal. Things work together better in groups. Better in
it's,
groups.
it's so true. And you're such an inspiration. And
Thank
Charmaine
you.
says, let them know that they have at least one person that's with them no matter what.
Well,
And what?
I'm definitely here. That's one thing for sure. It doesn't matter. My phone is always on. I might be on FaceTime with Michael, sleeping, but the phone is always on. Call me, message me. Like, don't
Yes,
don't go out and use that drug. I've lost so many friends. I've lost Ben. I've lost Vinny. I've lost Jody. I was there tonight that happened to Evan. God rest his soul. The boys aren't coming back. The
yeah,
boys are coming back. And that do it hurts. But you know what? Rather than you go and use and you not know what's in that injection, you might think it's safe or what you're going to smoke or what you're going to sniff. It's not safe. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe. Call me, call Tina, call the safe use line. Like, do something. Do not use that, because you know what? That one last high can be your one last time you got your eyes open looking at this beautiful earth.
exactly. And Kayla says, love you both so much. Kayla, we love you. We can't
Love you,
wait to
Kayla.
Can't wait to start rapping with you and doing songs with you. And Roxanne says, once you become a mom, that role is for life. No, know what how hard times they may have to go through. Exactly. And let's see
My
what we
son right now is being raised by his dad, and we're going through mediation stuff, hopefully. But during my addiction and when everything happened, I did not, and I was not a part of my son's life. I openly, willingly admit that. It's not that I didn't love him. It's not that I didn't care for him. It's not that I didn't want him. But I did not want to be in the presence of my child
have. Hmm.
and be under the influence and not be able to take care of him, because one, that's inappropriate parenting right off the bat.
Right.
Two, he's going to grow up and he's going to say, mom was there, but how come she didn't look after me? It's a lot of trauma. And you know what I realize now, though, too, I chose not to have him involved in my life during this situation, because no, like, nobody deserves seeing him go through addiction. And
Yeah.
two, like, no child deserves to see their parent going through addiction. I couldn't look after myself,
Hmm.
so I couldn't look after him.
Yeah.
So to
Exactly.
me, it meant more to be an absence in his life than to be physically there and not there. Yes, he's going to need counseling. Yes, he's going to need therapy. Yes, I know mom screwed up, but listen, mom had to work her butt off to get where she's to now. And
You're,
I'm phenomenal, mom, and I
you're,
love my child so much. But when you're under the influence of drugs, you don't realize, guys.
yeah. And this is the conversation we need to have with young kids in school. And Kayla says, addiction takes control so fast. I wish I could have reached out when I needed to without fear of losing my babies. Exactly. Being
Yeah,
able to help, being able to get help with short-term consequences is so much better than losing life. There's only one you, one heartbeat,
there's
and
only one.
we all need to do better. We sure do. We need a whole new structure. And I wish our politicians would start paying attention and
Yes.
listening. Lord,
Yes, there's more of us dying again. Like, I've buried more friends this summer than the ones that I shook hands with. And the big thing about it is too, like the drugs and the dealers and the abusive relationships is another thing that comes in play.
And
Don't
human
go hand in hand.
trafficking and drug shootouts and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? You yourself lived in your own body, your own skin all your life. You have lived in your only brain. Just you. You own that brain. Don't let
Yeah,
anyone else get into that brain and tell you that you're not worth it, that you can't do it, you can't get clean. No, you can. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta reach out for help, and you can get it. It's there. The violence on our streets is unreal. The politicians ain't stepping up. We just recently had a murder we know of a mother with 5 young children. God rest her soul. We have things like that happening, and
mm,
it's too much happening on our streets that nothing's being done. Why are these people just being brought in and given a slap on the wrist and letting walk the street when we know that they're going to reoffend to do these things again? We need protection, and we need protection for our children. This is a situation, guys, that our kids are growing up into this world, and if that don't scare you, I don't know what will.
exactly. I don't understand how people are politicians, leaders are sleeping at night. I don't know how they're not scared to death. I'm every day sending a letter in. Look at this. Look at this. Look what's happening in BC. Look what's happening here. I mean, they must be sick of hearing from me. But it's like maybe until it actually happens in your own life, I'm not really sure. But Laura says it takes guts to get up in front of people and speak your life story. And you know what? This is one of many stories of recovery, and you are a true inspiration. You are a hero. And I'm so glad you're speaking out, because that gives permission for everybody else. And this is how we're going to win this thing, by speaking up.
I
And
can tell else to Laura Stephanie. She recently went to her hometown as well, and they had a night for her that she stood up in front of everyone too, and told her whole story. Laura is one of my best girlfriends in recovery. We go to church together, and again, Laura's standing out. She's speaking out too. She knows what's happening. She knows what's up. That girl
not
got it.
Laura, you're coming on show next time. And Sheldon says, that's what I say when I do my talks. Good for you. Nothing worthwhile comes easy. Exactly.
No,
And
nothing comes
And
easy.
Laura says, God bless you. The pain we have caused our children and others can be forgiven if we accept help. Tina Olivera, your inspiration as well. Thank you so much, everyone. And this has been like a super amazing show. I think we're hitting our stride here with conversations of recovery. Every time we post someone who made it through and share that on Guardians of Recovery Facebook page, it gets a lot of traction and traffic, because people just are really rooting for you. And
Thank
anybody out
you.
there who's listening, anybody who thinks they're alone, and anybody who thinks they are by themselves, don't need help or whatever, we are here. We see you. We hear you. We want to help you. I speak to 2-3 people a day, helping people get into detox, into rehab, into
Mm.
hospital, whatever it takes. So reach out. This community is the most loving. People who've come through addiction, honestly, like, it's a terrible thing to say, but it's true, are the smartest, most compassionate, most insightful people I know, and most interesting. Like, I could hang out with you guys all day, and I just want you guys to create the future that's going to solve this whole thing. So we need to take your experience, architect a future that is based on recovery, where all roads lead to recovery. And sober cities, inclusive sober cities, are popping up now. There's about 100 of them. That's where we need to go. I'm on that train. So if you're on that train with me, come on. And
Woo-woo!
last but not least, Kayla says, Tina's my hero. I don't know if I could say this.
Okay, I can read it for you. I'm alive right now because of this moment. I can't say too much, but I was barely alive when I made that call to her. My favorite people on this earth are the ones who go through the most pain. Thank you, Kayla. And Tina, you've helped a lot of people, girl. You deserve the credit we're given, living through Ben's experiences and being able to help live through our eyes, you understand, and you are helping people get into recovery. Like, that's a phenomenal thing, girl. Like, you're helping. That's
Yeah.
one less parent that's worried about their kid at night. Because they know what? They're safe. They're
Yeah.
safe. And you're doing a bomb job. And again, I cannot give you enough gratitude and the dignity and respect you show for people, the live benefit concert that you had. You're appreciated, looked at, and valued by so many people. I know that Ben is gone, but you know what? Ben's message and Ben's life is living on through many of us. And
It
and
is.
again, I'm getting choked up from it. We all can't thank you enough. I do. I love and appreciate you so much as well. Thank
I
you.
I feel like Ben just kind of took over my whole entire every cell in my body. And when he left this world, it's like he went into me and said, Mom, I have nothing to do with it. He's like, Mom, this is what you're doing. And every single day, I do feel like I say thank you for showing me the way. And step by step, we're making it happen. So, um, yeah, I guess that's probably a good place for us to end our show and our conversation. It's been so moving and so inspirational that these are definitely the kinds of shows that we want to get into. This beautiful young woman's journey from like prescription drugs that went down into Suboxone, that went to methadone, that went to what was next after that? Crack. That yeah, and
85 pounds to 140.
wow. And then to weeds, yeah, and then, like,
Yep.
and to turn it all around and get your life back and get your family back and get your kids. It's a true Rocky story. Like, you did it. You made it. I'm so, so, so proud of you.
So proud of you. Do you need
Yeah.
tissue?
No, I'm here
Do you need
balling.
tissue?
Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We will do more lives like this. If you want to be on the show, please let us know. Guardians of Recovery now has like 5 or 6 courses that are happening. We have guitar for healing with guitar on Sundays at the Lantern. We have parents with addicted loved ones. I know you're going through hell. We meet on at the Lantern as well from 3 to 4:45 on Sundays and also online. We have a recovery program, which Hope facilitates. So anyone in recovery who wants to find your people, we do all kinds of cool exercises, and we really dive into like the emotional and structures and all kinds of things. So and we also have spoken word, so getting the arts into it. So if you look on Guardians of Recovery Foundation website, you can see all the events that are happening up there. And yeah, please, let us know what else we can do. They're all free. Ever since Ben died, all the things that were missing that I felt needed to be fixed is what we're building into Guardians of Recovery. Every person is donating and volunteering their time. Someone donated a guitar the other day from ASL, and the guys at ASL, which was so cool. Like, now someone who doesn't have a guitar who wants to come to class can come on. We have a guitar for
They
you.
go and partake, yeah. And like I said, a lot of beautiful people are all putting their time, their efforts. They lived a life, they walked a walk, they talked a talk. They can give a lot of good information. These recovery sessions, to be able to go sit down and speak. You don't even need to speak, guys. You just sit down, you can listen. And you know what? Sometimes you can relate in a lot more ways than you know of. You can go to church, you can partake at the lantern. Those are great opportunities to take up, everyone. I can't commend them enough. I really can't. And again, there is life after recovery. There really is. There really is. So really reach out. I'm here anytime again. Tina's there anytime.
Mm.
You need support, we're here. So thank you guys very much. And thank you, Tina, for this opportunity very much. Thank you, and God bless you, and keep you safe through tonight.
And on that note, we're saying good night. It is 9:30 on the cue. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless. See you
God bless.
next show.
See you, everyone. Take care. God bless.